All right, everybody. So here we go. We are going to be taking a look at the kits of the new characters. We have Angel Golden Frieza from the Tournament of Power, obviously, and Whis, the first sparking Whis in the game. So let's just start with Golden Frieza. We're all here for him. I'm here for him. Let's see. So first, that art does look very good. He's green. Okay, so out of the typings that I would have wanted, green and red were the two that I wanted the most. I was leaning a little bit more towards him, me personally wanting him to be red, but him being green is not bad. If he was like yellow or something, I would be pretty upset, but they did a good job of making him green. I think green is a color that, it's fine. The LOE needed green or red, so I'm not too upset about this. He's a range type, which is actually really a big relief. Because I was kind of thinking maybe they'll make this guy a melee type, which wouldn't be the greatest for LOE specifically, because a lot of their team, in fact the entire team, is all ranged. So that's good. He fits perfectly on the team in terms of his typing. So let's go ahead and just max out his stats here. What are we looking at? So, okay, stats are actually a little bit low. 250 to strike, 251 to blast. I think actually what happens is, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I think what happens is if you don't own the character, it doesn't show you the title boost in effect. I could be wrong on that, but I think that's how it works. So the stats when we get this guy maxed out could actually be a little bit higher than this, but honestly, his offensive stats are not that good, especially when you compare them to like a free-to-play character. Like if you take a look at the free-to-play Vegeta that just came out, the blue one, his main offensive stat is higher than this guy's as a free character. This guy's defenses are okay. Wouldn't really say they're anything special. Overall, his stats are kind of just like middle of the pack, like mediocre, which is interesting. But the interesting thing to note about this is that his strike attack stat is pretty close to his blast stat, so I guess you can kind of run him either way, unless he does have specific damage boosts in his passive. So Universe Survival Saga holds a strike and blast. Blast card inflicts bleed. I don't know if we've seen that. Actually, I think Zenkai Merge Zamasu, the purple one, might have like an effect like that, but I don't know if he holds a bleeding blast card. It's a very weird combo. Yeah, so here we go. Frieza Force, Lineage of Evil, Transforming Warrior, Otherworld Warrior. He is obviously not on Powerful Opponent, which means that if you run him on LOE, there are some Z abilities that you're not going to be able to get. So that's the only issue with that. His arts card, so his strike inflicts enemy that should be downgraded plus 10% damage received for 15 counts. Huh. Okay. That is interesting. 15. The best part about this is that it lasts for 15 counts. That's a long time. That's pretty annoying. And another thing about this is that it's all damage received. Okay, that kind of reminds me of the Super Saiyan, the OG Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Vegeta. They sort of had a similar effect to this, except that was for specific damage. This is just for all damage received. Blue card, or not blue card, the blast card is anti-armor, 150% of blast damage inflicted against enemy armor. Pretty good. It's like Gogeta Blue has that, I'm pretty sure, and I think the Transforming one as well. And then LF Piccolo has something like that too. So the blue card is the Great Death Beam. Deals massive pierce damage. Nullifies, oh wow, it goes type neutral. So if you're fighting a purple unit with this guy, you're going to be doing neutral damage. And then a 100% chance to inflict extreme bleed. So this is only the second character ever released to be able to inflict extreme bleed. Obviously the first one being LF Rose Goku Black. So this should do a lot of damage. Keep in mind that this LOE team does have access to a character that holds an extra blue card with the Zenkai LF purple first form Frieza. So if you want to run this guy with that Frieza, you can actually just spam blue cards like this. So that's going to be pretty good for this guy, especially when you're fighting like Mono Purple, or really any team with Goku and Vegeta on it, right? Or even just like, you know, LF Jiren as well. So this blue card is the Death Beam Feint. So this is a charging forward attack. It does have blast armor. We saw that in the preview. Apply the following effects to self, upon activation. 40 ki and then 20% damage inflicted for 15 counts. The following effects occur on hit. Draws a blue card next. Okay, so guaranteed draws a blue card when this is when he hits with this. 100% chance to inflict heavy bleed. Cancels enemies' attribute upgrades. That's pretty good. And then you can combo it into pretty much anything. blast armor when charging forward. So what I want to see, honestly, off of this, what I want to see is his main ability gives him a green card. That's, I think would be pretty powerful if he actually had that. So let's take a look at what he does here. Main abilities, I'm going to savor this for just a little while longer. Restores own health by 30% and ki by 20. Destroys all of your own cards and randomly draws 4 new ones. Obviously, he refills his hand back to full. Nullifies enemy special actions, activate when changing cover for 10 counts. So you pretty much get that active for his own combo, and that's it. Cancels own attribute downgrades and abnormal conditions, and then cancels enemy buff effects. That's pretty powerful. This is a pretty good main ability. I think the fact that it gives you a full hand of cards and you nullify special actions, activate when changing cover, you can very easily farm a Rising Rush very early on with this Frieza by doing this main ability, because it only requires 20 counts. And then you canceling the enemy buff effects means it makes them want to switch their character, because in a lot of cases, you can cancel a lot of sustained damage cut effects when an enemy switches cover changes. So if you can do that and make them switch a second time, you can corner them into a rush position. So that's actually a pretty powerful main ability. Z ability is 3% to blast arts damage inflicted by Universe Survival Saga. So Universe Survival Saga is getting a lot of those like pure damage buffs from Z ability. We have Beerus giving blue card damage. We have the Ultra Blue Kaioken Goku giving blue card damage. And now this Frieza is giving blast arts damage. And on top of that, this Frieza is probably going to be your designated leader slot character for LOE, because he's going to be giving blast arts damage just straight up pure 3% to, assuming you have him at 14 stars, 3% to blast arts damage inflicted by the whole team. And then on top of that, if you have him in leader slot, you can gain access to those powerful opponent Z abilities as well. So that's going to be pretty good. 35% to tag Lineage of Evil or Universe Survival Saga blast attack and strike defense. Okay, that's pretty good. All right. So first unique ability is Emperor's True Power. Applies the following effects to self when battle starts. 90% of damage inflicted. That's good. 20% to blast damage. Okay, so he actually does have specific damage in his kit. So he's, you know, again, like I said at the beginning, even though his stats are pretty close to one another, because he has specific damage in his kit, he's definitely going to be more of a blast character. So he basically starting out with 110% of blast damage inflicted, which is very, very good. 50% reduced damage received is very good. Normally we see like 40%. And he has card draw speed, and he has minus cost on blast cards and special move cards. Okay. That's off to a really, really good start for this guy. Yeah, that's just... You know what this reminds me of Ultra Kaioken Goku. Ultra Blue Kaioken Goku, because they both start out with 110% to their main damage. They both get 50% damage reduction. They both get card draw speed, right? I mean, it's very similar to Ultra Blue Kaioken Goku, so that's very, very good. Applies the following effects to self every time an arts card is drawn while this character is in the battlefield. He heals by 2% HP. It's kind of like Blue Nappa. I'm actually going to pull up Blue Nappa in a separate window. I want to sort of compare what the stats are on that effect. It also does remind me a little bit of the green transforming Rose Goku Black as well. So Nappa, I'm looking at it right now. Let me see. Yeah, applies the following effects every time this character draws a strike or blast card, whereas this is just any arts card. So if you draw a blue card, this will activate. If you draw a green card, this will activate. Even if you, I mean, you can't draw an ultimate, but if he had an ultimate, it would have worked on that as well. But Nappa heals 3% and gets 20% strike damage whenever he draws a strike or a blast card. This Frieza's healing 2%, but I think the big thing to note about this is that he's gaining ki whenever he draws a card. Again, green transforming Rose Goku Black has a very, very similar effect to this. I'm going to actually check him out as well. The Goku Black also gets 10 ki whenever he draws a card. So it's actually the same exact amount of ki that Rose Goku Black gets. And we already know, just from history of him being a really powerful unit, how good that effect is. And that's not all, because he also gets a permanent damage buff. He gets up to 60% uncancelable damage for every time he draws a card. That is very easy to activate, considering he has permanent card draw speed. That can't be canceled. Okay. So basically what we're talking about here is... this is going to pretty much fill up pretty fast, I would imagine, and stack up very fast. So if he has this fully stacked up, he's starting with 150% damage inflicted, and he's starting with 170% to blast damage inflicted. And on top of that, he's also getting special move damage whenever he draws a card. So his special move is going to hit like an absolute truck. And that is only his first unique ability. Okay, let's go on to the next one. The Dangerous Ally. Inflicts all enemy tag Saiyans with attribute downgrade plus 20 to all arts costs for 10 counts when battle starts. That's interesting. Obviously, that's not going to be like a major hindrance later on because it's only for the first 10 counts of battle. I guess that actually even applies when this guy's not leading off, right? So if you decide to, lead off with, I don't know, LF full power Frieza, for example, but you have this guy on your team, this effect should still activate. It's kind of like the Red Rosé's damage debuffs, right? They should still activate when they're not on the battlefield, because it says at the start of battle. So 20 to all costs, that's actually really annoying. So if you're fighting, I don't know, your opponent leads off with Ultra Gogeta, for example, right? If they catch you with Blast Armor or in a combo early on, they'll hit you with like 3 cards, and then their combo will be over because they just can't afford to continue the combo for longer than that. That's actually a pretty underrated ability right there, and I think that's gonna be good. The following effects occur upon landing a Blast Arts. Reduces next damage sustained by 20%. Cannot be stacked. Applies until enemy combo is finished. Nullifies unfavorable element factors for damage sustained for 5 counts. Inflicts enemy with attribute downgrade plus 60 to all arts costs for 3 counts. The following effects occur after enemy attack is over. Wait, hold on. Let me just process that first part there. So when you land a blast card, again, this is actually very reminiscent of Ultra Blue Kaioken Goku, because Blue Kaioken Goku, when he fills up his unique gauge, does he not get 20% reduced damage received for the next time he takes damage? I'm pretty sure it's 20%. It's 20 or 25. Yeah, reduce next damage sustained by 20%. So it's actually the exact... So basically, this guy, assuming you land a blast card, has 70% reduced damage received for the next time he takes an attack. And he also goes type neutral for receiving damage. And I'm assuming what happens with that, so nullifies unfavorable element factor for damage sustained for 5 timer counts. I'm assuming that stacks. So whenever you land a blast card, let's say you have 4 blast cards in your hand, and you land one, then you land the second one, and then the third one, and then the fourth one, you should be able to stack that timer count buff for nullifying unfavorable element factors. It can't say cannot be stacked. It doesn't say that. I imagine it doesn't override itself. So what will happen is you'll get a stacking buff for being type neutral against damage sustained. So if you're fighting a purple character, once again, and you have that up, you're going to take minimal damage, well, less damage than you would have normally taken from like a blue card or any kind of card from the purple character. So if you use if you just spam like 4 blast cards in a row, you'll have like 19 timer counts of type neutrality against purple. I think that's how that works. We'll see when we use him, but that's pretty insane. And then 60 to all arts costs whenever you land a blast card. All that means is that when your combo is over, your enemy can't really retaliate right away. So that is pretty important to know. The following effects occur after enemy attack is over. Restores 30% of damage received up to 30% of own health. Reduces enemy Dragon Balls by 1, activates twice, and then randomly destroys 1 enemy card, activates 4 times. Reducing Dragon Balls again, huh? Because Full Power Frieza, LF Full Power Frieza already does that. Think about this. Think about this. LF Full Power Frieza already destroys, I think it's up to 3 Dragon Balls whenever he switches in 3 times. I'm pretty sure it's 3. Let me just check. Yeah, activates 3 times. Revival Frieza, after he revives, his main ability removes 2 enemy Dragon Balls. And now this guy reduces enemy Dragon Balls whenever he gets hit twice. So you can actually remove a total of 7 Dragon Balls. A full 7 Dragon Balls. That's actually a full Rising Rush with the Lineage of Evil lineup that I just talked about. This guy plus Revival Frieza plus LF Full Power Frieza, which honestly, that might become like the main LOE lineup that we see from this point forward. Yeah, this guy is pretty insane. I think the fact that he's able to stack up his damage reduction and his damage and the healing as well, because not only is he healing from this effect right here whenever he draws a card, but he's also healing from taking damage. 30% of damage received. So, for example, if you guess a Rising Rush and you're at 1 HP, you're going to heal up 30% of all that damage back up to, you know, however much damage you've taken. So, you can heal, let's say if an enemy rushes you, I don't know, like Goku and Vegeta, type advantage rushes as Frieza from 100% HP. You guess their Rising Rush, and you heal back up to 30% HP, and then every time you draw a card, you're healing 2% HP. So you're going to be able to heal back up very, 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 very quickly with this unit. And then you're stacking the damage reduction, the cost increase on the opponent, and the cost reduction for yourself, the card draw speed, all this stuff going on. You're removing buffs with the green card. This guy seems really good. And the fact that he's green does give LOE another color that they really wanted a better unit for. So I am very, very pleased with how they handled this Golden Frieza. They did a really good job. So that's Golden Frieza. Let's move on to Whis here. Whis is purple. Definitely a color I did not really expect to see for God Key, but again, I think God Key's in a position where they don't really need that many buffs, and they don't need like specific color buffs either, right? It's not like they, oh yeah, we really want this red unit, or we really want this guy to be blue, right? They have at least a very good unit for every color, but the thing is, for purple specifically, I feel like they're fine, because Goku and Vegeta, they have them. The Zenkai Merge Zamasu, honestly, is still pretty good. Actually, you know what? There's not that many other units on here. Purple, I guess, kind of makes... I mean, if you didn't pull Goku and Vegeta, they did kind of need a purple. Again, like I mentioned, the Zenkai Merge Zamasu's pretty, obviously still really good. I would say that while I don't really like that second year anniversary blue Vegeta that's purple, he still can be useful. Rose, LF Rose, Goku Black is still pretty solid, and that's pretty much it for purple. Okay, so I'll take that. So let's go ahead and max him out here. He's a support type character, so I don't really expect his stats to be like jumping off the screen at me. Yeah, those are definitely support type unit stats right there. 231, 241, and then 163 to both defenses. His defenses are not bad. Offensively, that does not look good though. So he's definitely more of a ranged character in terms of his offenses. So that's fine. He's from the ROF saga. He holds a... Oh, wait. He holds a green card. Okay. Timeout. He holds a green card. Guess what? Fairly recent God Key character likes green cards. Ultra Blue Kaioken Goku. He also holds the strike card. Okay. Well, I guess we're heading into the loony bin with this one. Strike, blast, normal. Blue card is an Angel's Touch, deals massive impact damage, reduces enemy ki by 70, and it does have blast armor. That's good that we have confirmation on that one. And this is where we get into sort of like uncharted territory here with the green card and Angel's Teachings. Applies the following effects to self upon activation. Restores health by 10%. 20% of damage inflicted for 15 timer counts. I wish that was just for allies inflicted because he's a support character. Applies the following effects to enemy on hit. Obscures all cards for 10 timer counts. All cards are turned face down for the effect duration, and their positions are shuffled. And he also inflicts attribute downgrade plus 10 to strike art's cost. So it's really hard for me to judge how good this green card effect is because we simply don't know how annoying this is going to be. Spoiler alert, I think it's going to be pretty damn annoying. I mean, you're literally gambling. Like, if you're sitting at long range with a fully obscured hand, like, you could press a card and, like, instantly die from it, not knowing what it is. If you press a card at long range and it's a blast and you don't want to use a blast, you could get PV'd, you could get rushed, right? You actually have no control over what happens. So you're going to have to be super, super careful about how that, like how you operate with those obscured cards in your hand, because who knows what's going to happen there. So we'll see how that actually works in game. Main ability is the Divine Instruction. Restores ally health by 20%. Shortens ally sub count by 3. Okay, so that's good. A team heal is something that we really don't see that often anymore on main ability, so that's good to see. And then obviously sub count manipulation is always pretty powerful. Applies buff effect, nullify attribute downgrades up to 3 times to allies. That's pretty good. Normally we don't see effects like that are applied to other characters, so that's pretty good. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade minus 50% health restoration for 30 counts. Okay, so reduces healing. That's pretty good as well. Inflicts all enemies with attribute downgrade plus 5 to strike and blast arts cost for 15 counts. Kind of like a much better and modern version of the red Whis' main ability, but that's good. I will take that. Z ability is going to be... Okay, once again, we have a special move, damage inflicted by God Key. Just straight up Z ability there. And then 35% to God Key, strike, and blast defense during battle. You know what's funny about this is if you run Whis on the Universe Survival Saga team, you can have 3 characters all buffing special move damage with their Z ability. You can have this Whis in the leader slot buffing special move damage for Universe Survival Saga. You can have Beerus buffing special move damage for Universe Survival Saga. And you can have Ultra Blue Kaioken Goku buffing special move damage for Universe Survival Saga. So you could have up to, what is that, 11% to pure special move damage just from Z abilities? Okay, that's pretty good. First unique is Transcendent Technique. The following effects occur when battle starts. Increases own arch card draw speed by 1. And then applies buff effect. Nullifies enemy special actions that activate when changing cover to self for 60 counts. That is very good. 60 counts is a long time. 20% of damage inflicted by allies. Okay, so that is just a straight flat buff for the whole team forever. Cannot be canceled. And this is an effect that activates when battle starts. So even if Whis dies, that buff will still persist for the rest of the battle. Oops, didn't mean to hit that chord there. And then if you go down, applies the following effects itself when this character enters the battlefield. 80% of damage inflicted, so that's going to obviously stack on top of this. So he basically has 100% of damage inflicted. Reduces damage received by 40%, and then minus 5 strike and blast, which costs for 15 counts. So that's pretty good because it's going to combo really well with his card draw speed there. I want to see some kind of like disruption. Let's see if they has that. So an Angel's Blessing is the second unique ability here. Applies the following effects to allies when this character switches standby. So he gives key and damage and key recovery. 50% to key recovery is very good. I think people are going to overlook that a lot with this unit. Key recovery, I think, and I've been saying this for years, I think key recovery is one of the more underrated stats in this game. And the fact that he gives 50% to every ally, it's not specific to a tag either, that's a pretty powerful ability. 25 key as well, and then 15% damage. Honestly, I was going to say, and I was thinking to myself that 15% was not really that much, but he's already giving another 15 over here. Or sorry, 20 over here. So technically, he's giving 35% total support in terms of damage inflicted when he switched to standby. That's pretty good. In addition to the key and key recovery, I will definitely take that. Applies the following effects to enemy every time when... this is what I wanted. Here we go. Disruption. Reduces key by 25. And then inflicts attribute downgrade -1 arts card draw speed for 15 counts. So you can actually use that defensively as like a cover change ability too. You cover change, you reduce the enemy's key by 25, -1 card draw speed. That's you know, it's not like, oh my god, Whis is like gonna wall you off, but you know, it's okay. And then he restores own vanishing gauge by 50% when enemy switches characters while this character's in the battlefield. Activates 5 times. So I don't really see that being super good. I don't think this Whis is going to be comboing you and you're going to be like, oh my god, I'm going to die, I got to switch. Right, this is a support character. He's not getting all these crazy, ridiculous damage inflicted buffs. His stats are very low offensively. So while this is nice to have, this is a ability that you really want to see on a more offensive unit that's not support, right? Because again, you're going to be getting comboed by Whis, but he's going to be not really doing much to you. But another reason why this is actually a pretty good effect even with a character like this is because he does nullify those special actions, right? So if you don't have Vanish and you're comboing somebody and they switch characters, you're going to be able to continue that combo and also recover your Vanishing Gauge. So that is very, very powerful. I do like this Whis. I think a lot of it is going to come down to how annoying and oppressive that Obscure effect is going to be, but I think even without that, he's looking pretty solid. I think he probably will end up replacing Vados as like the main support type character for God Key. And obviously, I mean, this guy, they hit it out of the park with him. I am very excited to test him out. But overall, this All-Star banner looks like it's going to be introducing 2 good characters. In terms of if you guys should summon, I will probably say no, but I have to look at the banner before I make that call. But let me know down below what you guys think about these 2 new characters. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next one.